All right. We are live, or I am live. David will be in here in just a moment. He is writing up one final thing for Texas A&M. Texas A&M knocks off Notre Dame 41-40. Was that the final? In part mostly thanks to a dropped extra point. It was a dropped hold by Tyler Buckner, who they kept showing on that screen over and over. Thanks for everybody who's in here. Please leave comments, questions, whatever. We'll get into it. Dave's going to be in here in just a moment, and we're going to really get into this. Hope you like the new little banner I made up for the show. Looks a little nicer than just our big heads. Dwayne "The Rock" Hudson, Matt Rule is going to the Crawford Canelo fight. Is he? I saw he talked about it. I don't even know where that is. I don't have it up on. It's in Vegas. You getting there in time? We'll see. Man, what a win for Texas A&M, man. Here's a question I'm going to ask, and I'm going to ask this to David too. Is Notre Dame done in terms of the playoff? Because they are now 0-2, and the rest of the schedule is not good. It is not a good situation at all. Yes, T, thanks for the question, though. We'll get into that in a moment. Waiting for David to pop in here. Just kind of wanted to get this thing live and running. What a day, man. Tennessee, Georgia comes down to the end. West Virginia, Pitt goes to overtime. Notre Dame, Texas A&M comes down to the end. Georgia Tech beats Clemson. There he is. There's Mr. David Ubben. Hold on one sec. Let me change this background here. I got a better one that can fit both of us.
Okay.
It'll look media playing around.
It
with
wasn't
this.
exactly a chill ending in South Bend. I couldn't jump on here. We had to finish up writing.
Yes. All right. So Dave's in here, so we'll just do a quick reset. All right. Here we go. Welcome to Bunch Formation After Dark. I'm Chris Vannini. He is David Ubben. We are coming to you live right now on YouTube after Notre Dame's loss to Texas A&M. If you're listening to this on the podcast feed, this is when we're recording it. David, this is your first one. I've done a couple of these on my own, but it's fun to do these. We're both at home-ish. You're at home. I'm in my parents' basement right now. And you just had to write about Texas A&M beating Notre Dame 41-40 with a last-second touchdown and extra point that won the game. So we can do anything here. We got a bunch of close games to talk about.
Situation for Notre Dame. So yeah.
Do you think they showed Tyler Buckner enough on the TV screen?
That was a tough look. Yeah,
showed him like 15 times.
This is truly Bunch Formation After Dark. No free ads, Chris, but you know how we do it at the end of the night. The polar.
We need to reach out. You got some polar water there. We need to reach out to the polar water people and see if they want to.
The polar cranberry lime is one of the great things that exists in nature. I think they just pull it straight from a stream, presumably from somewhere in Colorado, naturally flavored and carbonated. It's great. So anyway.
Yeah. So let's start with what we just watched. Notre Dame, Texas A&M. Heck of a win for A&M. There were a few times there where you thought Notre Dame might pull away. They didn't. They stay in it. The when the box extra point happened, I realized Texas A&M minus plus 6.5 was going to cover either way, so I got that pick right. But you just wrote about A&M. What do you think of this game?
I think so. Chris, we were both at the A&M Texas game last year, and listen, Texas did a lot of nasty things to a lot of teams defensively last year, but A&M just didn't have the balance. And, we read a lot, we heard a lot about Marcel Reed's progression, but we saw that side 360 on the road against Notre Dame. Listen, I know Christian Gray, Leonard Moore were kind of banged up, kind of in and out of there. I don't care, man. 360 on the road against a top 10 team, really good Notre Dame defense. He wasn't exactly playing from clean pockets all the time. It feels like to me we've seen a grown-up Marcel Reed. And I said in the preseason, like A&M was kind of my dark horse in the SEC because they were really strong on the lines. And if you got that grown-up Marcel Reed, which it looks like we got, they added some receiver pieces. They know about all the backs they've got. I mean, A&M's my online team for a reason, Chris. CFP 26.
Oh, I haven't played you as them yet. Everybody plays as A&M though. I play as Oklahoma. Everybody on my level plays with Texas A&M. But that's a question from Joshua here. If you got questions, comments, put them in the chat.
Yeah, hit us
We'll
up.
try to get to everyone. How seriously do you take A&M as an SEC contender?
I mean,
right now?
I don't think the I don't think the SEC is very good this year, at least at the top. But there's not a team.
It's wide open, man.
Yeah, there's not a team that you look at that you're like, oh, I don't know how they're gonna lose, or I can't see them taking 2 losses. Like, who in the SEC right now could you not see getting there at 10-2, 9-3? Like, they all look pretty gettable. So, like, why not A&M? They can be in the mix. Listen, these games are going to be decided by some select plays. You got to stay healthy. You got to get a little lucky. If you do that, you can be there at the end. And A&M is no different than anybody else.
Here is A&M's upcoming schedule: Auburn at home, Mississippi State at home, Florida at home, at Arkansas. Those are all winnable games. And then LSU, Missouri, South Carolina, Stanford, Texas. No Georgia, no Alabama. We haven't started SEC
Should be noted a lot of losable games on there also, but
a lot of games, like you said, they're going to come down to very, very close things there at the end. Reed, he threw for 360. He also completed less than 50% of his passes, and he missed a couple
but there were some
open
throwaways
guys
in there. I mean, you'd like him to be more efficient, but I mean, at the end of the day, he made throws when he had to make throws. I think for me, I agree with you that the completion percentage is kind of a bugaboo, but ultimately, he's anticipating. He's more accurate than we saw a year ago. Love his arm. Like, the arm talent's there. And I will say also, Cashin Howell, one of the more fun players to watch, just coming off the edge, just a beast. Like, he was all over the place tonight. A&M's got to feel pretty good about life right now. Because, Chris, these are just the games that just A&M just never wins. They don't win these games.
When they have the kick return touchdown called back.
Yeah.
But comment here from Dwayne The Rock Hudson: incredible Midwest basement. I'm in awe. Yes, absolutely. If anybody's had one of those Midwest basements with the wood
paneling is hitting.
With the wood paneling, that's all there. We've got my old high school hockey trophies up here. We've got some old Detroit Vipers stuff here. If you're watching it on the YouTube, yes, absolute Midwest basement. I'm up in Detroit. Weather's great. It's a good. Let's talk about Notre Dame. Jeff Gervis says ND is done. Week remaining schedule. That is true. They are 0-2. The remaining schedule is they may not play a ranked team the rest of the year.
Yeah.
It's Purdue, Arkansas, Boise, NC State, USC, Boston College, Navy, Pitt, Syracuse, Stanford. The best team in there might be USC probably. Then NC State.
We'll see. I don't know what to make a USC.
We'll talk about this more. We're still going to record the Sunday pod for Monday. We'll kind of go into this. But my initial reaction was last year we all said, oh, they lost to Northern Illinois. They're done. But we all said, no, they could, win out and get in and something's happened. I don't know if that'll be the case this year because we had 10-2. A lot of 10-2 teams last year did not make it. Miami, I think BYU.
I don't know. Look at the losses though. Like, ultimately, Chris.
That's the thing.
They're going to be sitting there at 0-2, but they're probably still going to be in the top 15 come Monday. And listen, I know it's AP poll, all that stuff, but Notre Dame's clearly a really good team. Miami might be number 1. There's a case for them. A&M's, probably in the top 10. It is what it is. You need those wins, but if you're 10-2 and you might not have super great quality wins, you're getting in the field if you're Notre Dame at 10-2. You won't have the wins.
I don't know that.
Be criticized. Yes, they will.
I don't, especially so this year they're going to add those new metrics that are supposed to help strength of schedule, strength of record. So if you lose to a good team, it's not going to hurt you. But if you beat a good team, it's going to help you.
Yeah.
We may have a bunch of 9-3 SEC teams that have several better wins.
Yeah, much better wins. If Notre Dame's 9-3, they're probably not getting in because they won't have the wins.
No, Notre Dame absolutely not.
If they're 10-2, they're getting in. No.
I'm not ready to say that. I won't say no, but I will see a lot of, especially you lose to Texas A&M, even the way you lost. 9-3 SEC teams are getting in over 10-2 Notre Dame, I think.
Is this your first time watching college football, Chris? Have you followed?
It's only the second year we've ever had a 10-team college football playoff. But we'll see how far they drop. I mean, T here says, what made Notre Dame a top 10 team? Sure, it's a good win.
All over
sure,
the
it's a good
field.
win for
the
A&M.
corners, the lines. Jeremiah Love. Jeremiah Love's got a pretty strong case as the best player in the country. Like, he's unbelievable. I mean,
yeah, but
Notre
Notre
really
Dame
good.
was starting to use some other guys as well. Like, it's not just him they're using.
But
on
like,
offense.
watch Notre Dame. I mean, listen, Notre Dame has acquitted itself fine. Miami played really well against them. Like, these are two good teams. Like, somebody's gonna lose. I don't know. I'm not here for the Notre Dame actually sucks stuff. I watched both of those games pretty closely. Like, I don't know how you can watch that and think Notre Dame is not very good. Yeah, they got to fix some stuff offensively. Denbrock has not been great, but come on now.
Yeah. Josh says, what if Notre Dame's 2 losses are to the ACC and SEC conference champions? I mean, like, yeah, it's possible. I'm just saying, like, there's a
Very
real
possible.
shot you have 0 top 25 wins. And to me, 10-2 is a lot different than 11-1. Like 11-1, you're getting in. Indiana last year, 11-1. For all the complaints about Indiana getting in the playoff, an 11-1 Big Ten team, I don't care who you are, an 11-1 power conference team is getting in the field.
Yes.
But 10-2 is when things start to not be so sure because we just saw it. Now, it may help that Notre Dame started so high, and we'll see how far they fall. They may not fall that far. That's the thing. But
yeah,
let's move. Let's talk about Vandy, South Carolina, real quick. Vanderbilt destroys South Carolina. Was the final 31-7?
31-7. That was a Diego Pavia special.
Ends a 16-game losing streak to South Carolina. Most notably, Lenora Sellers injured on a targeting call. Did not return.
It didn't look that bad. He didn't come back in. I'm not even sure what he hurt.
Looked like a targeting. I think he got hit in the head.
Yeah, Shane Beamer said he wasn't really sure. Also, BC just gave up 2 touchdowns in about 10 seconds. They were up 17-6, and they're about to be down to Stanford on the farm going into
Stanford BC over 43.5 was my wild card pick.
Well, it's hitting for you, Chris. They gave up a long touchdown to, of course, a tight end, and then they threw a pick 6. Dylan Lonergan, not great. Anyway, Dylan Stewart ejected for unsportsmanlike conduct. He kind of had a late push. Nobody seems to know if he's actually suspended for the first half next week. There seems to be some belief that he is not because it's not targeting, but I'm not sure.
T does not agree with your take, by the way, that Jeremiah
I'm not saying he is the best player in the country, but like if you're making a short list of the best players in college football right now, and Jeremiah Love's not on it, that list sucks. That's my point.
They're clearly
watch him play.
People are not liking your Notre Dame takes here.
It's really, it's just T's been drinking the Notre Dame Haterade.
All right, so Florida LSU, DJ Lagway, what are we doing? 5 interceptions, most of them like terrible. Like the 4th one, he throws deep into triple coverage. They lose, I think, 20-10. LSU did not look great. I do not think I will probably not have LSU as my number 1 team again next week, even though they just beat Florida. That was not a good game.
I don't know how good Florida is. I mean, listen, ultimately the defense is looking improved. Lagway, some of those gifts. Can we get a DJ Lagway, Arch Manning like support group? All of Clemson's team can come to that too.
So let's talk about this now because I wanted to talk about this. And Dwayne the Rock Hudson makes this point. I think there will be more 10-2 teams this year than last year because the overall QB play is down. QB play in college football this year at the top is really bad right now. And this was supposed to be a year in which star quarterbacks were going to lead the sport. Like, Arch Manning, Nussmeier, Cade Klubnik, DJ Lagway, Lenora Sellers. Most of those guys haven't played well, and now Sellers is hurt. I tweeted about that, and I said a year that was supposed to be led by star QBs is not happening. And then I got everybody replying to me in my mention saying, what about this guy? What about this guy? What about this guy? Look, I'm sorry. Look, Fernando Mendoza has not played anybody yet this year. I'm not going to call him a star quarterback yet.
Chris, he threw 5 touchdowns against Indiana State, okay?
So, like,
Larry Bird was out there covering guys at safety. Come on now.
I got someone from the Big 12 who was upset that I didn't include Sawyer Robertson as well. Like, dude, like, they're not star. I'm talking star levels like Heisman candidates and NFL draft picks. And
there's a bunch of good quarterbacks. There's no great ones. It feels like a year where the Heisman is going to go to a non-quarterback again. So we'll see.
I pulled up our Heisman draft we did at the Athletic.
I don't want to talk about this.
This is the order in which we took quarterbacks.
We're not talking about this, Chris.
Cade Klubnik, not going well. Arch Manning, not going well. Garrett Nussmeier, not going well. Lenora Sellers, who you took, injured. Jackson Arnold, playing pretty good. We'll see him at Oklahoma next week. Drew Aller hasn't played anybody. Who knows? John Mateer is playing well. Him and Carson Beck, who was a couple picks later, probably the two most impressive quarterbacks this season. Like, I think it's a clear them 1 and 2 relative to they've actually played somebody who matters. You know, Dante Moore, I don't know. DJ Ledway, not
Chris,
great.
I think Sawyer Robertson has been better than those guys, but he didn't win. So people it's not his fault they lost to SMU. Like, he's been unbelievable.
They beat SMU. They lost to Auburn. They lost to Jackson Arnold.
Excuse me, Auburn. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yes. It's not his fault they lost to Auburn.
Yeah.
He's been tearing it up.
Yeah. Ashwin Shankar, starting to think Arch isn't the guy. So, like, Arch got booed today. Like, he was like 4 for 11 with a pick at one point. He had 9 consecutive incompletions. Ultimately came around and Texas was able to pull away from UTEP, but he arguably got outplayed by Malachi Nelson, who's at UTEP now. Saw some NFL people saying either Arch is hurt or something is really wrong because the arm angle and everything. Real quick,
it looks
on Arch,
weird. It doesn't look good.
Our Sam Kahn wrote an article on The Athletic. Go check it out. Really good. He went through every single throw Arch made this year to see how often he grew,
including last year.
And last year, every throw he's made at Texas. Hard to say. That's not great. Georgia, Tennessee. David, former Knoxville resident. Tennessee had 3 shots to win this game. You have the 4th down late in regulation. You have the 2-point conversion. To tie it to send it to overtime, and you have the missed field goal.
Well, they got 2 turtle shelly with the field goal. I didn't like the play calling around the field goal. You got to trust your people. I mean, how many times, Chris? It's a running joke at this point that if you settle for a kick in the 40s and you're playing college football, you are playing with fire. We saw Cristobal get away with it in week 1. Listen, just keep playing. Keep running your offense. Maybe you go score. You don't have to worry about botching a hold. You know, it's in that spot. There's so many technique things and small things that have to go right. Even on a 25-yard kick, there's a snap, there's a hold, there's protection, there's a kick. There's so many things. Just run your offense. Run your offense. You don't need to go turtle shell as soon as you cross the green line and be like, well, what if they fumble? What if they fumble? I guarantee you nobody is going to be blaming the coach if you fumble. Just tell your quarterback, hey, if it's not there, throw it to grandma. It's fairly simple. We see this all the time. It's risk averse. It makes no sense. Like, if you're in the 40s for a kick, keep going. If you're in the 30s, I'll listen to it. But in the 40s, just don't, especially in a kick of that magnitude where the stadium's getting ready to explode. You know, if you make it, it's going to be a pretty identical scene to what we saw against Alabama. You're going to get swarmed. Like, there's so much pressure on that. So, I don't know.
I got to say, I thought this game was going to be a rock fight. I thought both quarterbacks were not going to be
good. I did too.
I thought both defenses were good. Instead, Gunnar Stockton throws for 300 yards, 10 yards per attempt. Joey Aguilar, 371 yards, over 10 yards an attempt, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. That throw by Gunnar Stockton on the 4th down, perfect. Perfectly laid it over the receiver on the outside, so you gave him room to adjust to it, and a great catch. I was very impressed, really, by both of these quarterbacks, neither of whom anybody has thought very much of. I think we can declare now that Tennessee won that trade, right?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately with both of these quarterbacks, I didn't see a lot of just them tearing it up, but you're giving your receivers a chance. You know, I wrote about this last year some, and talked to some coaches about it. When you got one-on-ones, you got to let your receivers try and go make plays. This is more specifically for Tennessee. Gunnar Stockton had a few of those. Zachariah Branch made some nice plays today. But Nico just seemed to refuse to let, any of those guys go make plays. Dante Thornton, all those guys. Chris Braswell was on fire today. Just mothing people left and right. And when you throw the ball up in single coverage downfield, even against Georgia, who didn't have Malachi Stark out there, doesn't have Keely Ringo running around out there, doesn't have Javon Bullard, all these guys, good things can happen. And you can get a flag, you can get a catch. I don't know that I thought that Braswell was just going to be, playing the way that he did, but we just didn't see hardly any of that last year. Nico seemed very risk averse, and in this offense, you got to cut it loose and let your guys make plays. And when you do, sometimes they make plays.
Yeah, so Georgia's now won 9 in a row against Tennessee. The 41
since
points
the Hail Mary game in 16. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the 41 points, the most ever scored by Tennessee against Kirby Smart's Georgia, and yet they still lose. I did not see that offense coming. Does it change your feelings on Georgia national title contender?
I wasn't that high on it to start with. I thought Georgia had the most talent, but when you look at trying to just the way this Georgia team is built, if you're in the BCS era, okay, and you can bludgeon your way, win the SEC, and get in a championship in one game, they're kind of built for that. But go play a bunch of different teams that are all, some level of elite, win 4 games with that offense, with a defense that doesn't have the same star. I just didn't quite see it with this team. So today didn't really change my thoughts. I didn't love Georgia as a national championship contender in general. Again, because
how much of that was because of their offense versus their defense? Like, you tell me,
it's kind of both. I didn't like
Stockton's gonna put up those numbers. I'm feeling pretty good about Georgia, but then you see Joey Aguilar put up 41 points, and you're like, oh, maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't. Georgia, I trust the big picture infrastructure of the program, but the star power and the talent is just not there compared to what we have seen from Georgia in the past. And it's not that they can't win the title, but they just look like everybody else. And that's not something that we've said about Georgia for most of the last 5 years. They don't look like everybody else. They don't play like everybody else. You got to be special to beat Georgia. Tennessee wasn't special today. Tennessee was pretty good today and almost beat Georgia. Arguably should have beat Georgia. So
I do feel like
where I come from.
I feel like 3 weeks into the season, there are even more national championship contenders than I thought at the beginning of the year.
The combination of the 12-team playoff and NIL, I mean, there's no good teams, and I say that as a compliment. Like, you could talk yourself into 20 teams getting to the championship game at this point.
Sam, what's the injury story on Lenore Sells? Again, looked like he took a targeting and then just
Shane
didn't
Beamer
return.
said he didn't know. He had no update. We don't know.
So. Had a couple people in here about Mateer. I will be at Oklahoma Auburn next week in Norman. 2:30 game, thankfully, so I won't be getting back at 4 a.m. That's going to be fun, man.
Jackson Arnold, you get an EV, we'll see, Chris. You might.
Jackson Arnold returning to Oklahoma. John Mateer, current Heisman leader. Oklahoma's defense has looked very good. Look, they played Temple. They played at Temple. Asking about the Oklahoma defense today didn't mean anything. I think the defensive performance against Michigan looks better in hindsight, considering Michigan put up 63 on Central Michigan. I guess, at least it's possible. Last year's Michigan wasn't putting up 63 on Central Michigan. Then again, Sharon Moore wasn't the coach, and they were actually running Bryce Underwood the way they should. So I don't know. Is Biff Poggi the better coach for Michigan? I guess we.
I saw some complaints that Bryce Underwood was still in the game late. I'm like, I'm not sure that you can complain about a true freshman quarterback being in the game. I think you want all the reps you can get.
But they were running him, and it's like, do you need him to take those hits?
Yeah, that's true, I guess.
Miami USF, not close. 49-12. I got this pick wrong. Carson Beck slinging it, 340 yards, 12 yards to throw. Mark Fletcher looks like to be their number 1 running back.
Yeah, he was bossing up today. USF just looked tired, man. Miami's really good. They took care of business today. No funny business. Beat them up on the lines. That's what you want to see if you're Miami. They played really well.
That they did. And they're getting College Game Day next week. You see that?
Yeah, that's lame. I would have liked to have seen Salt Lake. Listen. I don't know.
Miami. So wait. It's the Miami
Florida game.
Miami Florida game. Is that. And Utah is playing
Texas Tech. They're hosting
Texas Tech.
And then they also have Indiana, Illinois, which I think has a strong case in Bloomington as a host.
So Utah, Texas Tech is a noon Eastern game.
Yes,
which is also
with
a
Big
10
Noon, I
a
believe.
with Big Noon, which is a 10 a.m. local kickoff in Utah.
Mhm.
That's going to be nuts. We got Utah kicking off at 10 a.m. local time, and Michigan State will be playing an 11 p.m. Eastern game out at USC next week. So that we'll see on that. What else? So Clemson, Georgia Tech beats Clemson. Fire drill, 55-yard field goal. Brent Key, terrific clock management. Yeah, they probably should have got closer, but the way he managed the clock at the end of the first half and the second half was great. We'll talk about it more on the next episode, but I am done on Clemson.
I already sold all my stock, actually. I sold it about 3:45 p.m. I dumped it all for about 15 cents on the dollar. We're out on Clemson.
Yeah, look, man, Kate Klubnik, 15 for 26, 200 yards and interception. Like, the numbers for Clemson are not that bad. It's just like Haynes King ran for 103, completed more than 2/3 of his passes. Georgia Tech could have put him in a hole early too, by the way. They kept kicking field goals and stuff.
Yeah.
Got a 4th down stop near the goal line. Like, that could have been worse for a while.
The bigger issue for me is we've kind of been waiting to see it for Cade for a long time, and it felt like with him tearing up Texas, trying to come from behind in that playoff last year, we were finally going to see it. He's had 2 opportunities with, I get the Antonio Williams, injury and all that stuff. That does matter. That's a big deal. But we just really haven't seen it. We haven't seen him look hardly, great at all. And LSU's not a great defense. They're good. Georgia Tech is okay defensively. We just haven't. We need to see you sling it. He has done very, very little of that. So you see the tools. You see, I think he's got the right mindset. I talked to a bunch of people around him ahead of his first start at the Orange Bowl a couple of years ago. Like, he's kind of built in a lab to be like the franchise quarterback, but at some point you got to produce. And I've seen a lot of teasing without a lot of just getting after it from him. So
Yeah, I mean, Tony Yarrow, why do NFL pundits like Klubnik? He sucks. I mean, he's got all the tools, like you said. Here, the weird thing about Clemson, like, I can understand not buying them in the past. The problem is they've got like 4 or 5 top 50 NFL dudes on this team.
Yes,
like
7 guys on Phil Steele's top 3 All-American teams coming into the season. Like, that's crazy.
That we thought they do have the talent now. They have the experience. We thought that would be the thing. I mentioned this in a group chat text, but at some point we got to talk about how Garrett Riley is just not doing a good job and has kind of not done a good job for a while at multiple spots. Rhett Lashley was the OC at SMU. He leaves. Riley comes in. The offense gets worse, but then Sonny takes the TCU job. They go to TCU. They ride the Max Duggan train out of nowhere to a national championship run, and suddenly Garrett Riley's the offensive coordinator at Clemson. And it's like, there wasn't that much on tape that told you that's the guy. And it's now several years now of underwhelming results.
Yep.
Sam Callan in the chat seems to agree with me as well.
He says Garrett Riley's not the answer. I mean, there's a lot of evidence to support that. I think he's pretty good, but with the talent that you have and how long it has, I mean, that first year at Clemson was a disaster. They were not much better at all. You saw pieces of it last year, but there's no reason why they shouldn't be setting the world on fire this year, and they're not. They're not even close to that, and I don't have a good answer for why. It's a problem.
Yeah. Joshua asks, how good is Tulane? What kind of chance do you give them at Ole Miss? So Tulane is now 3-0. They beat Duke 34-27 in a game that's only that close because Duke scored 11 points in the final 3 minutes. That actually made it closer. Darian Mentz's final numbers looked decent.
He was
313 yards, but he was not great. Jake Retzlaff, meanwhile, 4 rushing touchdowns, 111 yards on the ground, 245 yards in the air, didn't turn it over. They look good, man.
They're clearly the best G5 team. I don't even think it's close, is it?
I mean, what about USF?
I think USF is good, but I think Tulane is a much more complete team.
Next week, Tulane at Ole Miss, 3:30 ESPN. That's gonna be a heck of a game. Because we don't know what's up with Austin Simmons after we don't know if Lane Kiffin was kind of messing with the SEC injury reports or not. But
well, I mean,
Austin
he
Simmons,
had to. He wasn't on the list.
he wasn't on the injury reports. Then there's reports that Simmons is not doing well. He doesn't start. He only came in for I think 1 or 2 plays. Austin Simmons did. So he's clearly hurt, and that wasn't on the injury report. And I'm very curious if the SEC is going to have something to say about it. But as Sam notes,
he has a fine system for this, by the way. So
yeah, as Sam notes in the chat, Trinidad Chambliss comes in and looked really good. Transfer from Ferris State up here in Michigan.
all-time name team guy. Trinidad Chambliss. That is a created recruit on CFB 26 if I've ever heard one. And I felt better. I felt bad because I'd never heard of him. And then I thought he was a Ferris State transfer like this afternoon. And I felt better about never hearing him or having never heard of him before. So
353 yards and a touchdown, 21 for 29 passing. Ferris State, by the way, a Division II powerhouse here in Michigan.
Yeah, he looked the part. I liked what I saw from him.
Yeah.
Arkansas's defense is a disaster. By the way, can we talk about Arkansas for a second, Chris? How much of them have you watched this year?
Today's Ole Miss game is all I've watched.
They are like the poor man's USC from a couple years ago, the LSU team from a couple years ago. Every game's going to be 48-45. This team is not very good, but they are extremely fun. Taylor Green's running around. They're slinging it. They cannot stop anybody. Arkansas needs to be on at 1 a.m. every single night because they are tremendously entertaining.
They lost by 6. They missed 2 field goals, and then they also fumbled the ball on their final drive with a chance to win the game. So that's tough. So there was that. All right, let's scroll through the scores elsewhere here that have already happened. FIU, how about that? FIU beat FAU to win the Shula Bowl. Pitbull Stadium's got to be rocking, man. Pitbull's got to be loving this. He tweeted about this game coming in.
Did he really?
Yeah, he tweeted, "Damn, I love Miami," with like a graphic of the game, telling people to go to the game.
Okay, sure.
Ohio State beat Ohio 37-9, but it was 13-9 in the second half till Ohio State pulled away. Look, not going to think too much out of one MAC game. Doesn't really mean much. What else we got here? These are all the big.
Can I offer an apology, Chris? I've sold my Clemson stock, but I bought stock in somebody else.
Who's that?
I've been very skeptical about Oklahoma coming into the year in general. The Jade
You're buying them. You're buying them after Temple.
Yes, because for a couple things. One, I just need you to validate that you're not messing around. Like Temple is way more competent than people think. Just squash them. I didn't think Michigan was that good. We'll see. Michigan might be better than I thought. But ultimately, I think defensively they're really good. Mateer, I still don't love him as a passer. When you watch him when he has to throw, it's not really what you want to see. Like
it's better than I thought against Michigan.
Yeah. But Oklahoma as like a legit playoff team, as a legit SEC contender, I hadn't really thought of them that way much this offseason. I think I'm in on Oklahoma. I'm not necessarily buying them as like one of the best teams in SEC, but I take them seriously as a contender now, which I had not really coming in. I didn't trust them. I kind of saw them in the same vein as South Carolina, where like I thought South Carolina had bigger upside, but I didn't really trust them. Like I thought there was like a stinker in there. I'm not sure that there's a 31-7 Red River loss hiding in this Oklahoma team. I think they're way more legit than I gave them credit coming into the season. So Oklahoma fans, a tip of the cap. I'm in on the Sooners now.
I'm going to give it. I mean, I wrote last week that they look legit. I think they're legit. I'm in on them as a CFP contender. But I'm not buying too much stock yet until I see that Auburn game. That's going to be a really interesting one because Auburn has been pretty much rolling. Like Jackson Arnold's numbers today. I know they played South Alabama, kind of a weird game, but Jackson Arnold was 13 for 24, didn't pass great, ran for 2 scores. They ran the ball well, almost 200 rushing yards, 5 yards per carry. Auburn is running the ball in a way that they haven't in a while, and it's the thing that makes me think Hugh Freeze is kind of learning from his mistakes. I said this after the Baylor game too, which is everyone's playing you to stop Coleman and Singleton, your two big time receivers. That is leaving smaller boxes to run the ball. And Hugh Freeze even said after the Baylor game I was at, he's like, Jackson Arnold was like, it was kind of tough because you want to get out there and throw it to those guys. And Hugh Freeze is like, yeah, it's tough for me too. Like I want, but just run the ball. Auburn led the SEC in rushing last year, yards per carry in conference play, but they started throwing the ball in times they shouldn't be throwing it and got a little too pass happy and it cost them. So we'll see on them. What else we got here? Bo Pribula, you buying the hype yet? They blow out Louisiana 52-10.
I want to see more. I think Kansas is pretty good, but I'm not really sure. I don't know. Like Louisiana, I think is actively bad. So I want to see it. Who's ahead on the schedule there for Missouri? You have to remind me. They got South Carolina next week. That'll be an interesting game because you're at home. We'll see if Sellers plays. I suspect he will.
We're about to have all these like middle tier SEC teams play each other.
Yeah, it'll sort itself out. I don't know what to make of Mizzou. I think Pribula is definitely better than I thought he might be. The Penn State thing is interesting. That's another team that's got to play some guys. Aller has not been fantastic.
I'm not. Penn State is not even in my head. Like, yeah. I'm sorry, Penn State. I started you preseason number 1 because I think you'll win it all, and you've dropped down to like 8 since then, and people are upset about it. I'm sorry, you're playing garbage for several weeks until you have Oregon. You have a bye, and then you have Oregon. So like, I don't.
To be fair, Villanova won the national title not that many years ago. So.
We will talk about Penn State when they stop scheduling the worst non-conference schedules you can imagine. Which, by the way, they are not. Look at their future schedules; they're playing nothing. It's embarrassing. And the SEC has every right to make fun of you in Indiana for the way you schedule non-conference games. At least Indiana's doing it, because they're usually just trying to make a bowl game. Penn State, you're supposed to be competing for national championship. Give me a break. Give me a break. In a year,
I just want to see Aller chuck it around and look like a first round top 10 pick. We haven't really seen that yet. He's been okay. But this has not been the issue. It's when they've gone up in these elite games, when they're playing the Ohio States, the Michigans. He has looked like bad. And
other than the Oregon Big Ten championship game.
Yes, that's true. But you need to have when you're playing these games, you should look, on borderline deity status, and he hasn't. He's been pretty good.
No.
So
you know what we need to pay more attention to? The American Conference might be really, really good this year.
I think it just is.
Because not only is USF doing what it is doing, not only is Tulane doing what it is doing, North Texas beat Washington State 59-10. And it was 42-3 at halftime.
What was the line on that game? That was legitimately probably one of the 3 most surprising results of the day.
It's partly because Washington State had 5 turnovers in the first half. But I told you, if you read my list of rising name coaches to keep an eye on, North Texas defensive coordinator Skylar Cassidy was on that list, did a really good job at Sam Houston. North Texas hired him and several of his best Sam Houston defensive players there. And if they can get the defense just to be okay at North Texas, look out, because that has been the problem for them. They could score up a storm. They can't stop anybody. North Texas, don't forget them in the American. And also Memphis goes to Troy, wins 28-7, took care of business against the team that gave Clemson a little bit of scare. And we've got Arkansas going to Memphis very soon, possibly next week.
Careful.
That's going to be at the next week. Yep,
it is next week. It's a noon game.
That's at the Liberty Bowl, which is kind of under construction, so it's not like a full-on stadium. But keep an eye on them.
Scroll through here. I will do my 3 most surprising.
By the way, hold on. By the way, anybody have any questions or comments? Put them in the chat. I'm reading them all. I can see them up on the screen. I should have said this 40 minutes ago, but please like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't yet. We will see. Real quick, Josh, if Penn State loses to Ohio State and Oregon, would they be out of the CFP at 10-2? Would their resume be better than Notre Dame?
They're pretty
much in the same.
Come on now.
No, what are you talking about?
Chris, there are no great teams. There's going to be a ton of 9-3, 8-4 out there.
We just saw 10-2. Why do you think every 10-2 team is going to make the field all of a sudden?
Every 10-2 team in the power conferences or Notre Dame will make the playoff. Print it on a T-shirt. I'll wear it every show, Chris.
just last year didn't happen.
It's all right.
So what were you going to say? You said you were going to have 3 something?
3 most surprising results from week 2 or week 3, whatever
Week 3.
in.
We keep saying it wrong. It's week 3.
Yeah, whatever. That I'll put that North Texas win, and then I will go Old Dominion 46.
Yeah.
45, Virginia Tech 26. And then New Mexico 35, UCLA 10.
Let's talk about that first one. Old Dominion destroys West Virginia. There was a point.
Virginia Tech,
sorry. There was a point where Virginia Tech had been outscored 62-0 over 4 quarters of play between the second half of Vanderbilt and the first half of Old Dominion. By the next time we record an episode of this podcast, Brent Pry may no longer be the coach at
I feel
Virginia
confident
Tech.
that will be the case.
People in that world are very skeptical he will continue. The one thing people have noted, though, to me, which is a good point, with both him and Deshaun Foster at UCLA, is that they have played 4 games this season. And if you fire the coach after 4 games, everybody on that team is going to be wondering, should I not play, take a red shirt, and save my year? It's why schools don't want to fire coaches so quickly as well, because you could have a lot of people just totally bail on the year because they don't want to waste that year on a season, on a team that the school has thrown in the towel. So if those things don't happen in the next day or so, that could be one of the reasons why. But in terms of Brent Pry, Virginia Tech, this has been dreadful. They went from losing every game close to now losing every game in a blowout. He has lost to Old Dominion twice. The first game of his tenure, now potentially the last game of his tenure. I like Old Dominion in their offense and their OC, the guy that they hired a couple years ago. They could make some noise in the Sun Belt, but they should not be punking Virginia Tech and Lane Stadium. This program has fallen so far that you worry if they can ever get it back at a place.
Well, when you see results like this, Chris, when you see 34-0 in the second half against Vandy, you see 28-0 in the first half. How if you're an administrator, if you're anyone, how is that not an effort thing? I didn't get to see a lot of those 2 games, but you're not. Come on.
There was a 3rd or 4th down stop that was then negated by a face mask penalty. Just everything going wrong that you could imagine. Discipline, effort. You've seen them
happening.
You've seen them get run off the field twice.
Yeah.
Yes. And is there somebody else on that staff who can convince them that it's still worth playing? I don't know. Is Billy Napier done? I wouldn't say yet. There's no reason to do it now when you clearly have a team that can still win notable games coming up and do something. You wait and see. There's no need to rush it. You want to change your coach now if you think the coach has lost the team and if you think somebody else can come in and get them to play harder. That might be the case at Virginia Tech. It might also be the case at UCLA, which just got punked by New Mexico at home. New Mexico, which has 75 new players on its team because their roster has been gutted 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
I wrote a story about this in The Athletic. In the last year, New Mexico lost its AD, its football coach, its football OC, its star quarterback, star running back, top 5 receivers, top several tacklers, its men's basketball coach, its entire men's basketball team. Nobody's been hit more by the portal than New Mexico. Jason, the entire basketball team this year is new, completely new team. In football, Jason Neck comes in from Idaho. We met him at the coaches convention. Great guy, fun guy,
good dude,
a real salt of the earth guy because he texted me the other day when I tweeted out a discount code for YouTube TV, and he was like, "It's good to save a couple bucks." Look, man.
That's that early coaching profession in you where you're making $30,000 a year and got 2 kids. That's what that is.
Yeah. So good for them, man. New Mexico, proud place. First win against a Power 5 team since 2008 or 2009. Jack Lane, the quarterback from Idaho, Jackson Eck is the son of the coach on there. Like, by the way, did you see the comments Jason Eck made after the game, by the way? He was like, we're going to play better teams than UCLA this year. Like,
Yeah,
it's not Ohio State.
Well, Diego Pavia can't hurt them now. That helps also. You can't rule that out. But yeah, I mean, UCLA, listen, I know I wrote about it last week. The Nico thing has made a lot of headlines. Nico is not the problem. Nico is, I'm not even sure, in their top 10 problems. Nico has actually been okay. He hasn't been bad. He's been fine. But he doesn't have great blocking. They don't have any weapons, really. The offense is kind of a mess. Their defense, can't cover, can't stop the run, can't rush the passer. But also their linebackers aren't great in space, so that's good. So, we'll see. Sam Callan brings up Clark Lee. So here's the bonus that you get with Clark Lee. Chris, I feel like it's going to be hard to pull him away from Vandy.
It's his alma mater.
Yes. The James Franklin thing obviously was very that's probably the proudest run that they've had. Derek Mason had some moments, but nobody's done it like James Franklin has. But Franklin, not a Vandy guy in the same way that Clark Lee is. I think Clark Lee, if you're a coaching agent and your guy's at Vandy and he's doing what Clark Lee does, you say, hey, you got to get out of there on the first bite, the first boat you can, because it's really hard to sustain. Clark Lee knows that, but he's talking about winning championships at Vandy. I think unless it's like, a Notre Dame, a big time job, I'm not sure that he's going to leave there. I think it means a lot to him, and I think he wants to keep this thing going. And he wanted that job. There's not a lot of guys that go out of their way to go get the Vandy job. I mean, I think there's a pretty strong case that Notre Dame defensive coordinator is a better job than Vanderbilt head coach, but he wanted that job. And he's shown why, especially when they've had some low moments there. And now this is as good as Vandy has looked. So the Clark Lee conversation is interesting, but it's been also a while since Vandy's had a good coach that I don't think is going to be going anywhere anytime soon.
And it's also possible Diego Pavia could kind of sue his way into another year of eligibility. Like he only asked for one. I'm serious, because he spent 2 years at junior college and he asked for 1 year. I've talked to his lawyers about it at the time. They do, and you have some Vanderbilt players leading a class action lawsuit to try to give everybody 5 years of eligibility, no red shirts. So if that can help as well. Joshua asks, similarly, can Georgia Tech keep Brent Key? Again, that's his alma mater. That you got some guys, some places who found the right guy, and it's a guy who wants to stay there. Not necessarily that they would or wouldn't leave. Georgia Tech's got issues, but by the way, Brent Key is now 7-1 against ranked ACC opponents.
Wild.
I loved him from the moment he took over for Jeff Collins midseason, because instantly you could tell that team stopped effing around and started playing better fundamental football. Remember Jeff Collins, there were special teams errors, all kinds of just bad stuff. He comes in, locks that down. That team played hard for him the rest of the way. I don't remember if they made a bowl game or not. And ever since then, it's just a solid, difficult out every time you play them. So shout out to them. Speaking of the ACC, I wrote this after this game column on The Athletic. The ACC replay audio. This might be the greatest addition to football television broadcasts we've had in years.
Well, let's not.
This is awesome.
The multi-view, Chris, but yeah, let's keep it going.
No, this is awesome. Where they take you can hear the conversation between the referee on the field and the command center booth, and they talk it through. Let's cut to that angle. I don't think he has possession when he's got there. I don't think I see this. Okay. And it's great television. It's so much better than let's bring in our rules analyst who hasn't seen the play.
I don't know, Jim. He might be. It might not.
And he doesn't know. And we're just twiddling our fingers looking at this. Just give us the thing that they're showing us. And this thing is universally loved. Every single comment on my story is like, wow, actually, I love this. You do not get college football fans to agree on anything. I'm here watching at home with my parents, my dad, who's yelling at the TV all the time for every game that we watch. This happens. And he's like, I like that. And you know why it's
All
so
right.
good? Because transparency is good. If you see people go through the process and realize it's humans making this decision, it's not some grand conspiracy, it tampers down the anger, and just it makes you understand that they're not trying to do this. So I wrote about this in the summer. I wrote a big story with Stuart Mandel about the issues with college football officiating and transparency, and because there was the Texas targeting, there was the Texas Georgia water bottle thrown on the field, you had the Arkansas State replay error, a lot of high profile mistakes or controversial plays in college football last year, and the XFL/UFL has been doing this, listen in on the replay review for years, since 2020, the spring league.
Yeah.
Dean Blandino does it.
I remember seeing it when I watched the earliest of the spring leagues. Man, that's pretty cool. It was a little bit. I don't think that we're going to see college football bring back the old XFL coin toss, but it is one thing I'm glad that we've brought from
yeah.
the XFL.
So I asked. When
college.
I was doing this story, I asked people from every conference, every Power 4 conference, why don't you do that? The thing that the UFL does that is great, and they would give me two reasons. One, it's a lot easier for the XFL/UFL when there's only 1 or 2 games going on, which is fair, as opposed to if you had 5 or 6 going on. That's fair. 2, they're worried about backlash and threats toward officials, which is already a problem. SEC fans know the names of all the officials and whatever. They don't want replay people to be getting stuck in that as well, which is also a fair point. And people have even said, like, the SEC will never do this because their fans are too crazy, which I think you see the results of what we've gotten so far on this. It's totally awesome. Like, not even if they make a mistake, you can see how they made a mistake. You seem to not care about this at all, but I love this. And
I
think
like it. I think it adds a lot to the viewing experience. I think it gives fans a look inside in a way that I do think is productive and good for both these. I mean, listen, Chris, we're both journalists by trade, so naturally, more transparency, more openness, we're gonna just be for in general. So I like it. It is cool, and I think the thing, I think we were talking about this earlier. I don't think you mentioned maybe you mentioned this to the top of this. It is much better entertainment and television than the, like, because when these reviews get long, I mean, I forget the games going on because, like, today I got like 6 games going on, and I'm like, I'm watching other stuff, and I forget. We come back and haven't had a play. I'm like, what have you guys been doing this whole time?
Terry McCauley, the former referee, tweets, that was just patently egregious missed offensive holding foul on the Texas A&M game-winning touchdown from the offensive line. So, you know, who cares? But like, I think with this ACC thing, like, so last year the ACC started by allowing the rules analysts to listen in and then relay it to fans. And then this year they announced, we're going to let people listen in for Thursday night game and the Saturday night ACC network game. That was it. And this game is Clemson Georgia Tech game is at noon on main ESPN. So I asked the ACC today, I said, why are you guys doing this for this game? And they said, well, everybody has the feedback has been very positive. We had the Wake Forest NC State game the other day. Was that the Friday or Thursday game? Thursday. That everybody saw it. A lot of people saw it for the first time and people loved it. So ESPN wants them to keep doing this. So I hope it keeps going. I think it's great. More transparency, better for everybody else. Last couple
Chris,
things.
We got a viral Brian Kelly post game. I got to listen to this. You can talk or something. I don't know. Can we bring up a tweet? I haven't seen this. Can we play a tweet on here?
I don't know. Is it a video? I don't know how to do that on here.
Yeah, it's a video. I can send it to you.
All right, you just listen to it. I'll talk here. So, what games do we got going on? Stanford, Boston College, 2020 at halftime. Arizona State's up 20-3 on Texas State. It's a good bounce back for them. Games on TNT. Jordan Tyson had a pretty crazy touchdown catch in that game as well. I don't know if we need to talk anymore about your beloved Kansas State Wildcats, Ubben. it might be fully over for them. They lose 23-17 to Kansas State. They are now 1-3. David's Ireland curse is real. Even now, other podcasts and them are talking about it, trying to dismiss what David has discovered and investigated. Brian Kelly. Okay, so what David is listening to right now is Brian Kelly went off when the first question he got tonight was about LSU's offensive issues. So it appears that didn't go so well. But I think that, I have concerns about LSU as well. Hi, what did Brian Kelly say?
So he was asked about, I believe, the running game not being great. And Brian Kelly is like, you're spoiled. You're spoiled. What do you want us to do? Beat him 70-0? It's like, that's a completely out of line question. After we just went and he was talking about their 17-1. I don't know what stat he was. I mean, it was interesting.
But I read that it was the first question he was asked after a win is why you can't run the ball, basically.
I guess I'm pretty familiar with the LSU bit. I didn't see who asked it. The question wasn't on there, but he got it. I mean, I sort of get it from Brian Kelly's perspective. I don't know. I mean, the order of questions is it is what it is.
I mean, if I won in the first question,
that's what I'm saying.
If I win and I beat if you win and you beat Florida, your big rival, and the first question is about your struggles, that's like, I do understand me like, guys, come on.
But yelling, you know what you are? You're spoiled. You're spoiled. It's not going to play how you want it to play.
Is that what he said?
Yes.
Okay. That sounds like a meme right there.
You're spoiled, Chris. You're spoiled. You got to understand. That might have to be a drop on the show now. We'll have to see. I just saw like a phone video from the side. I feel like the actual video will be even better. So.
Yeah. What else? Hey, Middle Tennessee, they won. They beat Nevada 14-13, their first win of the season. They had been my number 136 at one point this year. Yeah. Good for Derek Mason's team getting off the schneid.
Chris, I sent you the memes. The memes are already hitting. Wes Blankenship, who did he does the Friday night Georgia high school radio guy. So checking the best buy date on any given item in your grandparents' refrigerator. You're spoiled. You're spoiled.
Speaking of going to a grandparents' or parents' house, I am dealing with the thing that everybody deals with when they go to their parents' house to watch something, which is one, the video is all messed up because the motion smoothing is on, and the refresh rate's too high, and everything looks like a freaking soap opera camera. And two, the audio is a disaster where you can't hear the people talking, but then you can hear every other noise that's being made in the scene.
This is not an issue. My dad's pretty tech savvy. This is not an issue.
No, and I usually just suck it up and deal with it. But today, watching football, I was like, I cannot deal with this. I'm changing the settings on this television, and he got very upset about it.
I gotta say so Chris, today I've been busy. Last year. Obviously, I had the week 1 road trip. Last week, I was at Charlotte watching the Belichick experience. So today was the first day I've been at home since the creation of the Create Your Own Multi-View. And it's not perfect. Like, I don't think you can fully just create your own multi-view.
No, it's very annoying that you can't.
Whatever. But the watching experience is tremendous, Chris. I forgot how good a College Football Saturday is when I have my large TV in the room. I went 4-screen multi-view, and then I have my office TV, which is about the same size as one of those multi-view videos. And then I have my second laptop with another game on, and then I'm working on. It was just, you can see everything. I forgot how good that experience is. So we'll see.
Shout out to Delaware beating UConn in overtime. FBS program Delaware, for people who don't remember. They're in Conference USA now, and they beat UConn. Shout out to them.
And Chris, another pretty good day for Missouri State too, hosting SMU. They pushed them.
Yeah, 28-10. It was 10-0 Missouri State, but then all SMU the rest of the way. Well, I guess we didn't talk about backyard brawl, by the way. West Virginia beats Pitt 31-24. This game was a mess. All these teams just kept dicking around. Every drive they're getting in the red zone and screwing something up. They got inside each other's 30-yard lines a total of 14 times, scored 6 touchdowns. So some more can be done there. But West Virginia ties the game up with 11 seconds left. They win in overtime. Richard looked like he was going to cry afterward, talking about how West Virginia's got all this grit and doesn't. That's what the backyard brawl is about, man. That had to feel good for him coming off of 13-9. He doesn't have to hear that as much.
Friend of the program
anymore.
Yeah,
friend of the old program.
Yeah. Did anybody ask Richard what was going on with the quarterbacks moving them around? Because he had Nico.
I haven't seen.
Marichal? How do you pronounce his name? He was he was playing okay, and then he put in some freshmen, and it was very messy. But I had it on mute. I was watching Georgia Tennessee. That was blessed with my volume. I can only do one game on volume, so I had it on mute, and I had no idea why he was shuffling his quarterbacks. I don't know if anybody asked him about this, but it seemed inexplicable and messy. But they won, so
I don't know. Well, so Iowa State, by the way, escaped by the skin of its teeth, going to Arkansas State, winning 24-16. Get the win, not great. I don't know how much to think of it. Iowa State goes on the road a lot of times to these MAC schools or Sun Belt schools, and they lost at Ohio a number of years ago, and when Matt Campbell got mad at that fan after the game. So at least they won the game.
I forgot about that.
At least they won the game this time.
I mean, the top of the Big 12 is looking pretty soft. I mean, I think Utah and Texas Tech look like the clear 2 best teams. I'll listen to TCU, but I'm not sure TCU has played, much of a team with a pulse yet.
So as we wrap up, Sam asks, what are each of your top team performances of the day or individuals? That I don't know. I have not gone through. We'll get that on the next episode. Well, I think we're going to I should have said this at the top, but I think we're going to put this episode in the podcast feed because we're both here. When we have the rare opportunity, I want to put this in the feed, let people know what we talk about Saturday nights when we have this opportunity. Again, I don't know if I'll be able to do it next week. But, figured let's just react to things as they happen here. What games do we still have going on here that are going to wrap soon? Cal's up on Minnesota 10-7.
Arizona State's bouncing back. They're taking care of business. By the way, Chris, you're like a score bug guy, right? I usually don't care. The TNT score bug is terrible.
I don't remember if it's better than the Mountain West one. I don't know what the TNT one looks like offhand.
That's a low bar. That's a low bar, Chris. Either way, I'm not usually a score bug guy, but you can't. Some of these places need to start building stuff for the multi-view universe, and the text is too small.
I don't think so. Here's the thing. Like, we love multi-view, and hardcore college fans love multi-view. It's not the multi-view you have to build it for. It's the people watching on their phones you have to do it for. Yeah, you need it to be big enough for people on their phone. But most college football fans are watching 2 to 3 games a day, their own team. That's why it's our job to watch everything and talk to everybody about everything. So anything else you wanted to talk about before we get out of here?
No, I mean, it's a great day. We're living in a golden era right now, Chris, because I think it's easy to forget. Not that long ago, nobody wanted to play at noon, and you'd had the CBS game at 3:30, and then there'd be 9 games happening at prime time that were all good games. Today, pretty much from the start, we just had great college football, a lot of drama. Clemson, Georgia Tech in the morning, or the early afternoon. The Georgia Tennessee game, just classic football games. A&M and Notre Dame at night. We'll see if these nightcaps kind of go off the rails a little bit, but great college football Saturday. They're all good in their own ways, but this was a pretty memorable one, compelling, a lot of drama, a lot of memorable plays. Great Saturday.
Tony Ubben wants to go back and watch the Crawford fight. I don't even think it's started yet. It is.
I don't know. I have never known that a fight was happening until everyone starts tweeting about it.
Do you even know what sport this is we're talking about?
It's boxing, but I don't know who these guys are. I don't know.
One of them, Matt Rule talked about one of them afterward because one of the fighters is from Omaha. Someone said in the chat that he was going to be there. I didn't see if Matt Rule.
Tell me why why all the big fights are at like after midnight? Why do they do this?
Two reasons. One One, because it's in Vegas.
So
2, because it always goes later than they think it's going to go.
so start earlier.
There's an undercard, and you got to go through all this stuff, and sometimes those fights go longer than you think. Yeah, I do think it's weird. UFC does the same thing. US Open tennis does the same thing. Every big US Open tennis match is always at like midnight for some reason in New York. It's weird. But I don't even think that fight it's almost 1 a.m. I don't think that fight has started yet. Everybody on Twitter is talking about how.
What is it on? Is it?
I think it's on Netflix.
Sure. All right.
It's on Netflix.
I don't know that I'm gonna make it. So the sad thing about my life right now is since I moved to Eastern time, like I have 2 toddlers, I rarely make it to the end of college football. I mean, Hawaii, we need to have the conversation. But like these late games, unless it's like a top 25 team, I'm probably not going to make it to the end tonight. So my apologies to the Calgorithm and to the farm. I'm sure BC fans are loving playing a game at 1 a.m. It's still in the third quarter, halfway through there. So,
dude, it's going to be right now. 1 week from right now, Michigan State and USC will not even be at halftime. That is what will be going on. That's the beauty of conference realignment, folks. So I hope this audio turned out okay.
Chosen. Yeah.
Again, I'm in a different setup in my parents' basement. David's at home, but
you sound good.
We wanted to talk. We got a really negative comment actually on Spotify from someone who criticized a couple of things, and as I went to reply to him, I think the comment was deleted. So if that was you, please reach back out at bunchformationpod@gmail.com. Would love to hear your feedback. We want all the feedback, good, positive, and negative, in your Apple reviews, in your Spotify comments, in your emails to bunchformationpod@gmail.com. Look, the week 2 picks episode, by the way, good number. Every week, the numbers on the show are getting bigger, which is awesome. Like it really is just natural. We're all just growing this thing on our own. There's no production. There's no producer. Everything you see and hear was put together by me and David talking into a microphone, and then I put it together at the end. So we, if you're listening to this on the podcast feed still, the reason there was no intro, maybe I'll put in an intro, but we're not going to have timestamps or anything. We're just kind of going freewheeling it here. Just want to have some fun on YouTube as we kind of grow this thing. The YouTube channel is doing pretty well too. Some people comment on the YouTube videos and complain about, say we don't have many subscribers. And I'm like, dude, we just started this thing like a couple of months ago. I'm very happy to be where we're at in all those numbers. So we just want this thing to keep growing.
Day. It took at least until week 4 until they built Rome.
Yeah. So time to go watch BC Cal. Time to go maybe watch this boxing match. I'm gonna
eat some ice cream and watch this game and then go to sleep. So
yeah, and we'll be back.
Make it worth it, guys.
We'll be back on Monday for a recap / kind of moving forward type of episode. Appreciate everybody who stayed up with us late in the comments. We know there's other stuff that you could be doing, other people. We really appreciate everybody who has stayed with us as this goes on. I'm having fun. We're doing this just on our own. It's a good time. Looking forward to talking about it with you, David, next on Monday. So
let's get it. See y'all.
For David Ubben, I'm Chris Vannini. We will talk to you on Monday.
And bring back the turnover chain, please.